Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So the pick a card reading that we're going to be doing today, this one is for those of you who have been feeling confused about a certain situation in your life. Perhaps you've been wondering whether it is really your intuition that has been guiding you in this situation, or if perhaps your fears and ego have been taking over. You may be wondering if maybe there's some wishful thinking going on in this situation. We are going to get to the bottom of whether your perception of the situation has been accurate and whether your perception of the situation has truly been helpful to you. And we're going to get you some advice for how you can move forward navigating this situation. So there are not three, there are 4 readings for you guys to choose from today. So I'm going to show you each of these crystals up close one by one, and then please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. If you are drawn to more than one today, that is totally fine. There may be messages for you about a certain situation in more than one group, or there may be messages for you about multiple situations in your life. So it is totally up to you. Please feel free to watch any and all groups today. But without further ado, let's give you a close-up look at each of your options. For option number 1, we have this Moonstone starfish. For option number 2, we have this clear quartz mushroom. For option number 3, we have this agate cluster. And for option number 4, we have this Shungite sphere. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi, number 1s. So if you guys chose the Moonstone starfish, this is going to be a reading. As you can see, I'm not in my normal filming setup. I am traveling right now, so things are looking a little bit different. So I apologize if the quality is not what it usually is, but we are gonna do our best. So we're gonna start off with an energy check to make sure that this is your group, and I'm gonna do that with these oracle cards right here. If what I'm describing does sound like the situation that was on your mind, then keep watching. It is possible that it doesn't sound like the situation you originally were asking about, but it may sound like something else you're going through in your life. Your spiritual team might have messages for you about a different situation. In that case, it's totally up to you if you want to keep watching or not. But if what I describe here doesn't sound like anything you are going through, then you may want to try choosing a different group, or maybe this is just not your reading today. But without further ado, let's take a look at your energy check cards. We are starting off with full moon. We have the keywords subconscious and awakening, and we also have the number 44. Then we have another number 44, oh my gosh, and the keyword scavenge. So this might be a number that you guys are seeing frequently with regards to the situation, or any sort of repeating number. That is kind of crazy to me. I don't think that's ever happened before. Like 4 repeating numbers in a row. Maybe, but it's super rare for that to happen in a reading. We have younger woman. Dealings or relationship with a younger woman. And then we have grasshopper, situations in the balance that require careful handling. Okay, so we are starting off with this full moon card, and what this tells me right off the bat, group number 1, is that this situation is one that really has you in your feelings. It is a situation that you could be very emotionally invested in, or it's just been bringing up some very intense emotions for you. It could also be a situation that has brought up a lot of your subconscious thoughts. So subconscious desires, subconscious fears and insecurities. It's like you're really having to face your emotions as you move through this situation. I'm also thinking about how, of course, the moon goes through cycles. So this could be a situation where it will be like you're chilling, you're doing fine, and then all of a sudden you're like hit with a wave of intense emotion, and it kind of comes and goes the same way the moon waxes and wanes. I don't think it's necessarily that you're always feeling super, super intensely about the situation. I think it could be more so something that comes and goes. Maybe there's like certain triggers in your life that make you start to feel more intensely about it again, and then it kind of eases off. Or it could feel seemingly random to you, like, why am I suddenly hit with this intense emotion right now? And I also think that with all of these repeating fours, there's a couple things that I would normally think with this repeating number. One of them is destiny, like your destined path. So with this particular situation, group number one, you guys could be very concerned with whether this situation is in alignment with your destiny. It's like you really want to know if it is meant to be, if it is meant for you, if you're on the right path by pursuing this thing or moving farther along down this path. Like the idea of, is this in alignment? Is this my destiny? Could be very important to you. The other thing that I think a lot with the number 4 is safety and security. So another big concern of yours in this situation could just be like, am I safe? Am I safe to pursue this path? Am I safe to, for example, get my hopes up in this situation? Is this going to bring stability to my life? That could also be something that you are quite concerned about. Now, moving on to this scavenge card, there is kind of a feeling of, I don't want to say looking too deeply into things, but looking very, very deeply into things. Like you can probably imagine that this crow has been looking in all these different cans, like looking down to the bottom to see if there's something in there. So the feeling that I'm kind of getting for this group is that you may receive signs about this situation, but then rather than just taking the sign and accepting it, it's like you have to keep looking for more. Whether it's a positive sign or a negative sign, however you're interpreting it, it's like if you would hear a message or receive a sign about this situation that gives you hope, it's like you have to keep looking deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Whether it's like you have to make sure that that's true. You have to make sure that that was actually a sign, and you just keep digging and digging. Or it's like, okay, I want more of that sign. I need more and more confirmation that this hopeful thing is true. And, you know, scavenging kind of gives the feeling of looking for crumbs. So there could sometimes be instances where you're looking for more and more signs or more and more messages when they're not really there. And the same could go with negative messages. Like you might receive, I don't want to say negative, but you might receive like a warning message, a protection message about the situation, or just something that kind of is a concern. And then your anxious mind kind of kicks in and you look for more and more and more confirmation that maybe this worrying thing is true. So it can go either way. But yeah, let's talk about this younger woman actually. This is very interesting because while it could literally be talking about a younger female or a younger feminine person in this situation, I also think this could be talking about feminine energy, with younger sort of translating as like a feminine energy that still is not as developed as it could be or not as strong as it could be. And I'm thinking about the qualities of feminine energy that have to do with intuition, that have to do with receiving. So some of you guys, you could be in this energy because it's hard for you to just be in that receiving energy and say like, thank you, divine. I receive your sign. I trust my intuition and I'm good. It's like there's maybe an insecure part of you that doesn't allow you to do that. And so even when you receive an amazing sign, like this 4444, that's freaking crazy to me, you guys. Like, yes, I see repeating numbers in readings, but like to see 2 cards in a row come out and it's 4444, like that is a very rare and important sign in my opinion. And yet this crow still feels like they need to scavenge for more, like they need to look for more crumbs. They need to like scrape the bottom of the can for more signs, because maybe they just feel insecure about it. Maybe they're in a lack mentality, or it's just hard for them to believe. And again, I feel like it goes both ways, where you could receive a sign that something is about to go really right, but you can't accept it and you need to look more and more and more. Or if you receive a bit of a worrying sign, it's like you really cling on to it and you have to like scavenge a lot to make sure, or to confirm your anxieties. I hope that that makes sense. And it's like, if this woman, aka feminine energy, were more developed and we were sitting stronger in our intuition and in our ability to receive the signs and messages that are coming to us, we might not be in this scavenging energy. We might just be able to accept these signs, and they would, it's kind of a weird way to say it, but they would satiate us. Like, I just received this beautiful sign, that's amazing, and I trust it. And I think we can receive a bit of insight into why you may be in this energy with the grasshopper card, situations in the balance that require careful handling. So this tells me this is something that really, really matters to you, group number one. Like, you know, we spoke about you having a lot of strong emotions about this situation, so it makes sense. You may be in this scavenging energy because this is just really, really important to you, and you just really, really want to make sure that everything is good and everything is okay. You know, the more we care about something, oftentimes the harder it is to just let go and let it be and just take things at face value. We start to want to like dig deeper. And it just, it gives the feeling of a situation that is very delicate, or at least you are perceiving it that way. You may feel that this situation is like fragile, like just one little thing could go wrong and then it's all gonna fall apart. Or maybe your situation is like that by nature, like a lot of things need to line up and there's a lot of intricate parts to it. You might feel, some of you may even feel like the situation is too good to be true. So like, you know, almost like the universe must have made a mistake by gifting this to me. And so if I make the smallest mistake, then the universe is going to realize that I was never supposed to have this in the first place. It's like it's too good, and you feel like the universe might take it away from you. There's that feeling of being extra cautious, but it's very clear to me that this is something you really, really care about. Sometimes you might think about it too much. You might be looking for things that aren't there, as opposed to just like taking the signs you receive at face value. But let's get into the tarot now and look a little bit further at what's going on. Okay, so we want to know whether group number one's perception of this situation is accurate. Also, with this younger woman, I'm just realizing, you know, we were speaking about subconscious things coming up and sort of intense waves of emotion coming up. It could be in some ways that this situation is bringing back memories from your childhood or some unresolved wounds from your childhood, or maybe it's bringing up a hope and a passion and a joy that you hadn't felt since your childhood. Is group number one's perception of the situation accurate? Okay, so we have the 10 of Wands, which came up in the upright position. It says too many burdens. Sorry, there's glare, so I'm just going to hold it up to my face so that I can read it. Too many burdens, extra responsibilities, efforting, stress and exhaustion, duty, obligation, burning out, and struggles. So one thing right away, this is something that is inaccurate about your perception. And that is that you could lose this blessing, that you could lose like whatever good thing it is you're hoping that is coming to you. What is inaccurate about your perception is that you could lose it, or at the very least you may be perceiving that you could lose it very easily. Like we spoke about with the grasshopper card, the smallest little mistake, like if I move one pinky toe in the wrong direction, it's all gonna fall apart. It's like you're really, really worried about losing this. And so you're holding on to this load of wands, of sticks that you don't have to be holding on to. This is you carrying a burden that you're not supposed to be carrying. And I feel immediately when I look at this card, these are things you are supposed to just let go and hand over to your spiritual team, but you feel like you need to carry it all by yourself. You feel like you need to figure it out all by yourself. It's like you're taking on the burden of always knowing what's going on. What do I need to do next? Do I need to take action? Am I taking enough action? Am I doing enough? You are carrying all of this onto yourself. And I feel like you are really exhausting yourself. You could be mentally and emotionally very tired from the situation. You could even be physically tired, or you could even, I'm not saying this is going to happen to you if it hasn't already, okay? This is not like a scary prediction, but some of you maybe have felt like physically unwell from the stress of this situation. Like often when I get really tired, like I'll get a sore throat or a cold or something. So this is not like a prediction of negative health, just that this could be something that has happened to you from stress or burnout in this situation. And what is coming through right now is that it's not actually the situation that is tiring you out. It's your own mindset towards the situation, or it's your own pressure that you put on yourself that is tiring. And this is supposed to be a positive message because it means that you don't have to disengage from the situation. It is possible for you to have a healthy relationship with this situation if you learn how to let go of the burdens that were never yours. And figuring out how all of this is going to fall into place, your spiritual team is saying that was never your burden because this was always a destined plan. Like, that's what the repeating fours mean as well. Like, everything is secured into place. It's solid, it's sturdy, it's secured there for you. You don't have to be, this is kind of a weird message, but it's like someone walking up an escalator and tiring themselves out. And I'm not saying walking up an escalator is bad, like I do it all the time, but someone who is exerting themselves when they don't have to, because the escalator would take them up there anyways. And that's kind of, I think, the energy that you're in this situation. It's like you may be stressing out a lot about making this happen when it's something that just is going to happen naturally. So the perception that you need to be carrying all of these wands is inaccurate. What else does group number 1 need to know about the situation? Is their perception accurate? Okay, we have the 5 of Wands in the upright. Conflict, disagreements, tension, interesting, sport, diversity, rivalry, challenges, obstacles, competition, aggression, and clash of egos. So this is kind of funny to me, group number 1, because when I originally started shuffling this deck and I was saying out loud, is group number 1's perception accurate? I heard, like, I don't even know what my perception is. It's like, how can I know whether my perception is accurate if I don't even know what my perception is? If I don't know how I feel about the situation if I don't know what I believe? And you can see with all these wands going in different directions, they are clashing. This is a card of conflict. And I do think in this situation, this is an internal conflict. And this could also be something, group number one, that is very tiring for you guys. You may have several thoughts about this situation that all seem to be in conflict with each other. So, for example, there's you that's very excited about the situation and hoping for it, and then the doubts come in, so that crosses over. Then there's a part of you that feels guilty for doubting, so that's fighting the doubt, and then another thought comes in to combat that. And it may also change from day to day, where some days you feel very good about it and very hopeful and you feel like you really want this. And then, this is something I'm dealing with myself for certain things in my life. Some days I'm like, yes, I really want this. I'm super passionate about this. And then I'm like, wait, but do I really want it? Or like, is it just my ego? And then I start second guessing. And then other days I'm like, no, I don't want this at all. And it is exhausting. And it's like, and then you start to get frustrated that your mind doesn't know what it wants and doesn't know what it's going on. And then you're like, can I even trust? And blah, blah, blah. So it could be loud. It could be quite noisy inside your head right now, group number one. And I think there is a need to just get very clear about what it is that you want. And I actually think that learning to let go of the burdens that are not yours and just trust in your spiritual team could be very helpful for that. And so there is an example coming to my mind. Let's say, I just have to think of a concrete way to say the example. Someone who wants to climb up a mountain. And so they really want to climb up this mountain. That's their desire. But then there is a conflicting thought that comes in and says, well, do you really want to climb this mountain, or do you just like the idea of climbing the mountain? Maybe your ego just likes the idea of climbing the mountain because it would make you feel accomplished. And so it's not really climbing the mountain itself that you want. It's like something that your ego wants. When in reality, what's happening is that you do want to climb the mountain. You are just scared of all the effort that it's going to take. Or you are scared of the possibility of failure because you don't realize that the second I set my mind to climb this mountain, my spiritual team is going to put their heads together. And they're going to work together to bring me the necessary training and to bring me the necessary emotional strength and to get me the plane ticket that I need to fly to the mountain. They're going to figure all of that out. When you take all of that burden on yourself, it is so overwhelming, and your brain doesn't like to be overwhelmed. Your brain doesn't like to be faced with tasks that it thinks it can't do. So it will try to trick you out of doing it or trick you out of wanting to do it. So this person really does want to climb the mountain. They just think that it's going to be so overwhelming and so difficult because there's all of these things that they're taking on to figure out, rather than just handing it off to their spiritual team and saying like, hey, spiritual team, this is what I want. And signed group one. And spiritual team's like, okay, we got it. When they take that all on themselves, it's too much. And their brain doesn't like that. So the brain starts to say, are you sure you want to do that? I think it's just ego talking. I don't think you really want that. You're right, brain. Let's forget. It was too much anyway. It was too overwhelming anyway. It's like you just want to drop that overwhelming feeling to the point that you would convince yourself that you don't want something. I hope that makes sense. Group number one, I think that you really do want whatever this is, and I think that it is in alignment with your destiny, but you are like scaring yourself or overwhelming yourself out of it because you're trying to take the whole journey and all the steps and all of the work onto yourself, when instead of leveraging the divine and just letting the divine process unfold. What else does group number 1 need to know about this situation? I'm going to take it this way. And we have the Hierophant in reverse. Personal beliefs, non-commitment. Okay, so this is like the second you just commit, and commit just means deciding that you really want it and being really honest with yourself about what you want, which might be something that's difficult for you guys as well. Being honest that, yes, this is what I really want. Yes, this would make me very, very happy. And then having the wisdom to surrender to your spiritual team. Yeah, some of you guys, it's also, you know, I gave that whole previous example with the mountain. For some of you, it's also just like admitting to yourself that you really want this. And an example that's coming to my mind right away is like a romantic relationship. I think a lot of us can, it's like, if we admit how fully we want love or we want a significant other, I think there's a part of us that feels, it's like we feel bad because does that mean I'm not like a strong, independent person who can take care of myself? Am I weak if I want love this badly? I don't know, the word cringe just came to my mind. I don't know, like maybe someone feels cringe if they have really like lovey-dovey and soft feelings. There's that kind of feeling of like, it's hard for me to admit that this is what I truly desire at the bottom of my heart. And that might be stopping me from committing and just saying like really putting in that written request to my spiritual team. Yes, I am confirming this is what I truly desire. That's what we really need to get clear on, is just being very, very specific that yes, I do want this. It's like if you're trying to get from here to here, but you keep changing direction, it's gonna take much longer to get there, or you may never get there. You have to really choose to be honest that you want this and choose that you want to stay on the path, and then your spiritual team will show you how. We have challenging beliefs and authority, originality, rebellion, unconventionality, and new methods. So, and it's interesting, we have 2 number 5s. One of the reasons you may be conflicted is because what you truly desire goes against some convention or some tradition that you grew up in. It maybe goes against the values that you were raised with, what your parents wanted for you, what your community deemed as normal and acceptable growing up. So a couple examples of this are, sorry, I'm just adjusting my sitting position. A couple examples of this are like wanting to pursue a career that your parents don't consider a real job, or that society doesn't consider a real job. And so there's a part of you, it's like you've internalized a part that looks down on you. Or another example of this is like someone who wants a significant other, but their religion has told them you can't have desires for people of that gender. And so there's like a part inside of you that is combating your desire and saying like, no, that like what they're really saying is, no, that's not right. You can't want that. But what they sound like is, nah, I don't really want that. And so there's just, and you know, we all have these different people inside of us, so to speak, these different voices, these different characters inside of us. And it just seems like they're kind of at odds right now. And so I think what we need to do is find a way to get all of those people inside us, all of those different versions of you inside of you, to get all of them on board. And, you know, that might take time. I think that is, you know, a big inner journey to embark on. But I think that that will work wonders for manifesting, for first of all, being clear about what you truly want, and then for manifesting that desire. And let's get one more. Okay, I'm going to take them in the upright. We have the King of Cups and the Five of Swords. There's 3 fives, 3 fives in a row. This is another card about conflict. Conflict, disagreements, competitiveness, unfair defeat, winning at all costs, stress, hostility, aggression, bullying, and intimidation. Then on the King of Cups, we have devoted, emotionally mature and balanced, intuitive, compassionate, supportive, and empath. I believe that this King of Cups is you. This is who you truly are. A sensitive, okay, making sure it's in the frame. A sensitive, I mean, of course it is, because anyway, a sensitive, intuitive, kind, and compassionate soul. Very powerful psychic gifts. I think this is just like, with the Five of Swords coming out with it, it really is a part of you that is not necessarily denying who you are, but just denying the extent of your power. You possess very strong psychic abilities and a very powerful ability to manifest, but I'm hearing you do so softly, like you don't have to do it with force. You're able to do it in a way where it comes very naturally. And I think that part of you is being denied. Water energy or cups energy, to me, it always feels like a very like smooth, leisurely flow. Like it's not pushed, it's not forced, it's not rushed. It just flows naturally. And I think this even ties back to like traditions and conventions and what society tells you, because the idea of you can manifest your heart's desires in an effortless way. You can manifest your heart's desires in a soft and easy and comfortable way. That's not really the popular narrative, right? Like, it's more like you gotta hustle, you gotta suffer. That, you know, that's the kind of narrative that we often push. And so it makes sense if you would deny your natural ability to manifest with ease. It's almost like it feels wrong. That's so weird. I'm just picturing like this pure, gentle, extremely powerful, I'm gonna say extremely advanced soul, which is you, like coming to this world being like, I can manifest to my heart's content because this is my innate gift. I can bring about love into this world effortlessly. I can bring about blessings into this world effortlessly. And I can do so in a way that feels good. And you're so full of inner peace. And then the earthlings are like, no, that's not how we do things around here. And force this other way onto you. And you're like, oh, I guess my way of doing things is wrong then. Like, when you're growing up in this earth and you feel different, you know, that can easily get, the way it came through is like, that can easily get like, no, I don't like that wording, because it's not actually out of you, it's still there. You can easily get shamed or even bullied into hiding the parts that are different, even if they're beneficial, even if they're inherently good. So it's like you've kind of adopted the other earthlings' way of doing things, which is this idea of like, you need to suffer a lot, you need to sacrifice a lot, which, don't get me wrong, sometimes we are gonna be in discomfort and we do have to make some sacrifices to get our desired outcome. But there's almost this feeling of, if I'm comfortable, then something must be wrong. If this is easy, then something must be wrong. If I'm not suffering, do I really deserve it? If I'm not working 24 hours a day, not sleeping, do I really deserve it? It's the idea that things can't feel easy, that things can't feel effortless and warm and peaceful. And that's denying who you truly are, because who you truly are is this powerful soul that can manifest in just a soft way. So this is all about your perception of yourself, of your own desires, of what the divine can do for you, that I think is a bit out of alignment right now. So, oh my gosh. Okay, we have a few more oracle cards to finish this reading. We have intuition, feeling your way into and through your work, an internal understanding that not all useful things are seen or knowable. And then we have rest. Wow. So it was my intention to like kind of pull these two cards together. So your intuition will be strongest when you're at rest, which again, even more reason not to overwork yourself. We spoke about that right from the start with the 10 of Wands. It says right now, both your body and mind are wanting rest. So put your hard work, put your hustles to the side right now and just give yourself a rest. And this card is even praising you for being able to do that. This card knows how hard it is to unapologetically rest in this day and age. And it's saying the fact that you can do that for yourself is beautiful. That is something that should be praised. Your ability to take care of yourself in a world that doesn't really prioritize that, that's a beautiful thing. And the rest will bring you a stronger intuition. Not all useful things are tangible. I mean, we know this, but I think sometimes we just need that reminder. If I take this day off, then I won't have this money, or I won't have this tangible result of my effort. Not all useful things are perceptible. I don't know what the word is, perceivable in the 3D world. Yes, you may take a day off, so to speak, but what you will gain from that, the insights, the clarity, the peace, the understanding of yourself, the growth. Yes, it may not be this tangible thing that you can touch and say, this was the fruit of my labor, but it is just as, if not more, honestly, useful. Wow. Your next card is, I go with the flow and feel my connection to the stream of life, which is beautiful. That's that cups energy. It's like a river that is always flowing. You don't have to push it forward. And you're already a part of that stream. It's like, okay, it's like a river. All the water is flowing at the same rate. It's all moving together. And it's like you are a drop of water in that river, but you're trying to pass the other drops in the river. Like, maybe that's a weird analogy, but it's like you don't have to force yourself forward because the river is moving anyway. You just have to jump into the river and let it transport you. You don't have to worry about being the current that pushes you forward. Then, we have lost but never alone. Yeah, so if that's not your spiritual team wanting you to rely on them more, they want you to know that you're never alone in this situation. And also, you're not alone in the sense that you're not the only person who is struggling with these things. I struggle with these things. A lot of us struggle with these things. And so, feeling disconnected from your intuition, feeling disconnected from your sense of direction, feeling unsure, that's all very normal. Life is being lost a lot of the time, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. I think maybe some people don't talk about it, but you are really not alone in this experience. Like, it's not shameful, it's very normal. It's a very normal part of being human. So I think this group is tired. That was coming through quite strongly. I definitely think we need rest. We need to drop these burdens. Take some time to figure out who are the different characters in this story. Who are the different versions of you that are influencing you? So maybe within you, there's that hopeful child who believes anything is possible. And then inside you, there's also the skeptic. So, and you figure out where that skeptic person came to be. There's these different versions of you within you who are influencing you in different ways. And so I think the next step for you is kind of identifying all of those different versions of you, and figuring out what they want and figuring out what their motivations are, and trying as much as possible to have them like understand each other and get aligned in the same direction, to want the same things. I can't tell you what you really want. I was just thinking of that mountain example where like it's clear what you really wanted was to climb the mountain, but there's some parts of you that they feel it's in their best interest to talk you out of climbing the mountain. So we have to figure out why. Why don't you want me to climb this mountain? Version 3 of me. Why don't you want me to climb this mountain? Figure out what is it that you're so afraid of? What do you think you're protecting me from? What do you think the positive outcome is of me not climbing this mountain? Because they're not just trying to make your life difficult. They have their reasons. So, but getting them all in alignment will be a game changer. And yeah, just knowing you're never alone. You have your spiritual team with you, and you have the others who chose this group, and I can definitely relate to the energies here. So you're not alone in this experience. But group number 1, those are all the messages I have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch dozens of exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also choose the topics for future videos. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, anything I do. I really, really appreciate you being here, and I really appreciate your support. And I'm sending so much love to you, to anyone who may be involved in this situation, either directly or indirectly. And I'm sending lots of love to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 2s. So if you guys chose the clear quartz mushroom, this is going to be your reading. As you can probably tell, I am not in my usual setup. I am traveling right now, so things are looking a little bit different, and I apologize if the quality is not what it usually is, but we are doing our best. So we were actually going to start off this reading with an energy check, but just before that, I wanted to share with you guys an intuitive message that came through before I started filming. And maybe this message even is sort of an energy check for you guys if it resonates with you. But what I really felt called to tell this group is that there's a message about it's not going to take as much time as you think to recover from something. It's not going to take as much time as you think to get back to where you were before. And this energy can be applied to so many different situations, but one example that's coming to my mind is like, let's say you work out regularly and then maybe you got sick or maybe you got really busy and you didn't work out for a few weeks, and you have it in your head, it's going to take me so long to get back to where I was before, but it will actually happen much faster. You'll be able to recover that endurance, that speed, whatever it is that you lost when you were resting, much faster. Or maybe you worked hard and you're really, really tired and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need X many days of rest to start feeling better, but you can actually recharge really, really quickly. There's just a feeling of you recharging or recovering quickly from something, but you're worrying like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so long before I feel normal again. This could be like even recovering financially from something, or in terms of like your health coming back. Again, it could be so many different things, but I just wanted to share that message with you guys before we got into it. But now let's take a look at your cards. So these cards are going to describe the energy of the situation that you're asking about. So if what I'm talking about here does sound like your situation, then keep watching. It is possible that it could sound like not the situation you were originally asking about, but something else that you're going through in your life. If that's the case, it's totally up to you if you want to keep watching or not. But if what I'm describing doesn't sound at all like something you're going through, then you might want to try choosing a different group. So without further ado, let's see what we have for you. We are starting off with Good Time in Man, and we have the number 38 on here. And the keywords heartbreaker, silver-tongued, and smooth. We have freedom with the number 19. Interesting. So I am doing a little bit of reducing here, but 38 reduces to 11, 19 reduces to 10, and then 1. So this is numerologically an 11. This is numerologically a 1. So 111 or 1111, repeating ones could be significant to this group. Also, Leo energy could be significant because the number 19 makes me think of the Sun card in tarot, which is related to the sign of Leo. And actually, even in some decks, like the number 11 card is Strength, which is also a Leo energy. We have Nest. An emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. And we have Coins. Money will be coming to you. Interesting. So when I look at this Good Time in Man card, you know, this is talking about a heartbreaker, a smooth talker. This is giving me the feeling of temptations. Because it is a person in this card and we have freedom, some of you guys maybe recently broke free from a situationship that was not fulfilling you, or broke free from a connection that it didn't really have a lot of, I guess, a lot of substance, or it wasn't giving you much back. If you were hung up on someone, this could be indicating that you recently freed yourself from that, or letting you know that you will free yourself from that soon. But I think that because this is a general reading, we can interpret this more broadly, that something that used to tempt you is not tempting you anymore, or something that used to trigger you is not triggering you anymore. There's a feeling of freeing yourself from old patterns that in the past you easily fell into, especially when you were feeling vulnerable. So, you know, maybe when you felt vulnerable, you would go back to an ex, or you would go back to an old person of interest, or you would go back to impulse spending, or whatever it might be in your situation. It's like those things that used to tempt you, they don't anymore. And it's a beautiful feeling. This feels very good to you. When we look at the Nest and Coins, this is talking all about stability and security. And with this message here on the Nest card, it really feels to me, group number 2, that you are in an energy right now where you're thinking a lot about your long-term future and thinking about what is healthy and sustainable for you in the long term. I think you're moving away from an energy perhaps of like doing things for instant gratification, or doing things that feel good in the moment but don't have any real long-term benefit to you. And you're thinking more about like doing future you a solid, I guess, is how it's coming through. Doing things that your future self 1, 5, 10 years down the line will thank you for. With Coins here, some of you guys could be getting really serious about your career path. You know, like, I gotta find a way to get out of this job I don't like. I gotta start committing to the career that I really want to do. Or It could be like health habits, physical, mental, emotional. It could be your relationships as well. Like, I'm gonna stop doing things that give me temporary comfort and really start thinking about what I want my long-term future to look like. And it looks like this shift in your mindset has been something that is very liberating for you, because it's definitely an empowering place to be. And I think you're really thinking about building your nest, you know, like building your home and choosing your long-term family and really finding your community. It's kind of like you're in this energy of wanting to settle down, at least for the next foreseeable future. You're thinking about, do I see myself doing this in the long term? Do I see this being sustainable rather than just, is this what I feel like doing right now? Yeah, so you're looking out for future you. That is for sure. And yeah, I think that's all the messages for now. So if this sounds like an energy that you are in, oh, okay. So I just heard a car honk outside. I don't know if you could hear that, but maybe this next part is important. What I wanted to say is, because I almost forgot what this reading was about. This reading is about finding out if your intuition is accurate or if your perception is accurate. So in this process, as you're going through this shift, you may be turning things down that you didn't before, turning down offers or walking away from things or people. And perhaps you want to know if you're doing the right thing. So let's say, for example, you're like, I want to settle down with a long-term partner. And so now I'm only going to date people. I'm only going to hang out with people who I can really see myself marrying. Like, you're looking for that long-term partner now. And so, you know, when an old fling texts you, or like when you go on a date with someone and it's like, it's fun, but you don't really see a long-term future, you might be passing up those offers. And you may be wondering if this is really, if you're really on the right path in doing this. Like, am I right in that feeling that there's something better out there for me? Am I right in that feeling that I'm like meant to be settling down for my long-term future right now? This could also be like walking away from a job or turning down potential job offers because you're like, I'm not going to go back to my old ways. You're leaving some comfort behind because something in you is telling you there's something bigger and better out there for me. But there might be that part of you that's a little bit afraid, like, am I wrong to be turning down these comforts? Like, am I right that something bigger is coming? So maybe that's what we need to look at for this group. So if this sounds like you, then keep watching and let's get into your tarot now. This deck shuffles very nicely. Okay. Is group number 2's perception accurate in this situation? Is their intuition correct? Okay, judging from how the deck is behaving, I think this is one of those classic situations where you are manifesting something big, or you're manifesting big things for yourself, and good things take time, big things take time. But what can often happen is that long wait makes us anxious. It makes us start to doubt, is it really coming? It's like when you're waiting for a package and it's been weeks and it hasn't arrived yet, you start to worry, oh my gosh, did it get lost? Did it get damaged? Did it get sent to the wrong place? Did they forget to send it? That wait, that time can really fill your head with worries. What I can tell from the way this deck is shuffling is that everything is on track. Like everything everything is going smoothly, everything is going as it's supposed to. It's just taking longer than you expected. And so that's kind of filling your head. It's like you have more time to think about what could be going wrong. So in this case, the weight does not mean that anything has gone wrong, because this deck is shuffling so neatly, but it's just taking time to come out. And for me, that's a telltale sign. Like, everything's in alignment. It's just taking time. It's just a matter of time. Also, I want to say for those of you who recently had an idea for a new business, or you recently had an idea for a new creative project, it's a very good idea, and you definitely have a green light from your spiritual team to go for it. Especially some of you maybe had this in the form of an epiphany, like, oh my gosh, yes, I want to start this business. And it may feel kind of impulsive to you, or like, I want to learn this skill so that I can make this creative project. Any like epiphanies or impulses that you've had like that, really treasure that excitement. I'm hearing follow that excitement. And I'm hearing there's a lot, for those of you who have new business ideas or new creative ideas, I'm hearing there's a lot that you can do on your own. There's nothing wrong with getting help, but what I'm seeing specifically is that some of you guys might, like, because you're excited about this idea, you might like fork out a lot of money to someone who says they can help you. And it's not to say that they can't help you, it's that just maybe you don't need to spend all that money. Like, for example, if you're like, okay, I have to make a website for my business, yes, you could probably pay someone and they could make a great website for you, but your spiritual team is saying, you know, it actually wouldn't take that long for you to like figure it out and make the website yourself. Like, you have a knack for something that maybe you don't realize. And if you just took a day or a few hours or whatever it is and learned the stuff, you could do it yourself, and then you wouldn't have to spend all that money. Again, it's not a warning message, like don't spend money, just so that you know you don't have to. What do we have? Ooh, we have the Six of Cups. Beautiful. We have, so Sun in Scorpio here. So Scorpio energy could be significant, a Scorpio sun, or late October to late November could be an important time for you. We have nostalgia, childhood, or the past, memories, familiarity, gifts, innocence, reunion, joy, healing, comfort, sentimentality, and pleasure. It's interesting that we have this childlike energy, and we were talking about the sun card because of this number 19, which is also very childlike in nature. Some of you guys may be pursuing a passion that you have had since you were a child, or something that makes you feel childlike because it's so fun and exciting and allows you to be creative. I also think that giddiness for this group, giddiness is like a telltale sign that you are on the right path with something. So if you like can't stop smiling, if you feel giddy, cheerful, excited, if you're like jumping up and down, or if you catch yourself daydreaming about something and smiling, like that pure childlike joy, that is the strongest sign for you that you are on the right path. So really pay attention to that childlike joy, that bubbly joy. That's a huge sign for you. I also want to say that doing meditations to connect more with the energy of your sacral chakra, or to open your sacral chakra, could be very helpful to you at this time. There was a period, this was a couple years ago, but it was so peaceful. I would do like stretching routines and really like focus on my breathing and focus on my body. And I would have playing in the background sacral chakra hang drum music, I want to say, from Meditative Mind. It's in D major, which is like the key of the sacral chakra. And it's so beautiful. And like the visual is all orange. Yeah, Meditative Mind hang drum music for the sacral chakra, and I would just like stretch and listen to it. I can like, oh my gosh, that's taken me back, which is funny because this card is about nostalgia. Obviously, you don't have to do that exact routine, but something to connect with your sacral chakra, I think, could be beneficial to you. It could be important at this time. Some of you may be also having children or connecting more with your children. Again, because of this childlike energy here, and also because of the nest, like this is your baby birds. So connecting with your children or your little ones, it could be animals as well, or welcoming little ones into your life, that could be a part of your destiny. And this reading is confirming that. Also, for those of you who feel a reunion on the horizon, whether that's a reunion with like a romantic reunion or a friendship reunion, like if you feel like a soulmate is coming back or someone from a past life is coming back, the Six of Cups could be confirming that as well. I'm just holding it up to look at it because with the glare, it's a little bit hard to read. We also even have the keyword of joy here on this card, which is so beautiful. What else does group number 2 need to know? And you know, with this being a Scorpio card and being the number 6, it is making me think of like psychic abilities. The number 6 making me think of the third eye, the 6th chakra, and Scorpio is a very intuitive sign. So I think for the most part, group number 2, you are very much in alignment with your intuition. You are very much spot on with what you see for your future. Like I said, your happiness is a really great guide for you. Like what makes you happy is what is meant for you. And look what we have. Page of Wands, new creative endeavors, new brilliant ideas. Like you guys are about to be filled with inspiration for new endeavors, new adventures, new journeys. We have the keywords adventure, excitement, fresh ideas, cheerfulness, energetic, fearlessness, discovery, young spirit, limitless potential, extrovert. Exactly. Like I could go all into this card, but I feel like I would just be reiterating what I've already said a lot. And again, a page can also be a sign of children. So this group, like you're either having children or like connecting a lot with the children in your life, or you are going to feel like a child seeing the world through fresh eyes again. With fearless, I also think something that is happening for you is something that once scared you is not going to scare you anymore, because you're getting divine support when the time is right. So an example that's coming to my mind is like someone they've wanted to start a YouTube channel for a really long time, but the idea of it scared them so much. The idea of putting themselves out there, opening themselves up to criticism, feeling like, what if my content isn't good? What if the quality isn't good? What if I don't do a good job? But then when the time is right for them, when they've come to the point in their journey where it is in divine timing for them to start, it's like suddenly they won't be afraid anymore. And it will almost be like an impulse that they just go for it, that they just start it. So if there's something new that you really want to do, but you're feeling a little bit like still on the fence about it, I want to tell you guys, like, don't stress it. Don't sweat it. If you're still feeling iffy about it, it could very well just be that it's not time yet. You know, it may not be something that you have to like force yourself to push through if it's not feeling right. And you'll know in your gut, like when it's time to do it, it's like something will just come over you and it will be like almost an impulse, like I have to do it now, and you'll just go for it and you'll just do it. So yeah, you'll feel, it sounds cheesy, but it's so true. You will feel it when the time is right. It won't feel forced. It will feel exciting. Huge confirmation for like new like trips, new travel, there's the word, new travel, new creative projects, a new business that is yours, that allows you to be creative. Okay, we have, oh my gosh, we have the Magician, and all of these are coming up in the upright position. Manifestation, focused creativity, skill, turning visions into reality, inspiration, willpower, desire, resources, and ability. Again, I feel like I'm just reiterating so much. We do have Mercury energy here and fire sign energy here. So you could have Mercury in a fire sign, Mercury in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Or like, ooh, you could be a Scorpio sun with a Sagittarius Mercury, or a Scorpio sun with a Sagittarius Mercury could be a significant person to you. The Magician is manifestation, new beginnings. You are creating your dream reality. But it's in a very empowering way, because you're really going to feel like this dream reality that I'm living in right now, it is the result of my own hard work. I willed it. It was my idea. I embraced the idea. I worked on it. I believed in it. And I can clearly see that this beautiful life I'm living now is the result of my hard work, my willpower, my creativity, my originality, my belief in myself. You truly feel like, I did this. I created this dream reality. I wasn't like at the mercy of some external force that could decide whether or not I could get it. Like I made this shit. That's how it's coming through. So you need to be reminded of your power to manifest. And I guess all I can say for this card is, if you are feeling like this Magician, then yes, your perception is accurate. If you do not feel like this Magician, if you doubt that you can be this Magician, your perception is inaccurate. Like it's as simple as that. There's quite a bit of speed in the cards here. So things could be manifesting for you quite soon. And actually at the time that this is posted, if I post it when I'm originally planning to, because sometimes I don't, the Scorpio season that we talked about is very soon. Like if you're watching this when it's posted. So that could very much be an important time. Okay, then we'll get one more for my group number 2. Oh my gosh. 10 of Pentacles in the upright again. Here we have Mercury in Virgo. So that could also be a relevant astrological placement. I'm thinking like a Leo sun, Mercury in Virgo. It's so cool when those like really specific combos fit for you guys. But let's see what we have here. Dynasty, leaving a legacy. Exactly, because you're thinking about your long-term future. This means that you and your family and your loved ones are all going to be taken care of. This means that you will have material fulfillment and emotional fulfillment. And again, this is about legacy. This is about your descendants. So a lot of you, like, you are having children, or the things that you're manifesting right now, if you already have children, the things you're manifesting are going to ensure a secure and abundant future for your children. What else? Inheritance, wealth, financial security. Like we literally had here, money will be coming to you. So that's definitely being confirmed. Long-term success, roots, family, ancestry, privilege, and affluence. Your ancestors would be so proud of what you are doing in this lifetime. Your ancestors worked very hard so that you could have this life. And if you have children, or if you are going to have children, you will definitely carry on a legacy that your ancestors would be proud of. I'm thinking of like being very connected to the culture that your ancestors came from. Some of you maybe have a very strong connection to your ancestors' culture that you will pass on to your children, or it's never too late to learn. It's never too late to reconnect. So, for example, maybe you're like a descendant of immigrants. So like you were born somewhere else than your ancestors, and maybe you have felt through your life that you're kind of disconnected from their culture. Maybe you don't speak their language, and they want you to know that it's never too late. Like if you felt called to connect with them, to learn about, to visit where they lived, or to learn their language, to feel closer to them, and to sort of carry on that torch, I guess, carry on that legacy. It is never too late. And if you are an immigrant, like if you have moved somewhere else, then maybe this is them encouraging you, like, to teach your children about your heritage. I'm sorry if I'm making this confusing, but like, to use myself as an example, I'm a Canadian living in Japan. So it would be like if I have children, I teach them English. Or like I have Italian roots, so maybe I teach them about Italian culture, which I actually don't know that much about myself, but it's never too late to learn that, and it's never too late to pass that on to your descendants. It's like they want to keep that alive, keep the heritage alive. But yeah, I feel like for the most part, this is really confirming that long-term success and long-term prosperity is assured to you. You definitely have ancestral support here. There's also a message for some of you to not feel guilty about the privileges you have. You may have some privileges in your life because your ancestors, the ones that came before you, worked very, very hard, and they want you to enjoy the fruits of their labor with gratitude, rather than feeling guilty of like, oh, I have this, but some other people might not. It's a beautiful thing to share your wealth and to help others, but it's definitely not something that you need to feel guilty about. So maybe some of you need to heal some wounds around like feeling guilty about receiving abundance, or feeling guilty about the privileges you have. That is coming through as well. But wow, what a beautiful future. Wow, like I can't believe all of these lovely cards came out, and they're all in the upright, because I have been reading reversals throughout this reading. And look at what we have at the bottom of the deck: the Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving, help, generosity, charity, sharing wealth. We were literally just talking about. So you'll definitely be very wealthy, and you'll definitely share it with others. Gratitude, support, community, and material help. That's beautiful. So we are going to finish off this reading. Oh yeah, and we have Taurus moon here in case that is relevant for you guys. We're going to finish off this reading with a few more oracle cards to see what final messages your spiritual team has for you. We have light, a fresh perspective, but sometimes you see more than you expected or want to. And then we have freedom. It says, your life is up to you. You are completely free. You can free yourself from old ways of thinking. It's a lot about just being free. Being free and living in a lighthearted way. It's kind of interesting, like, because I've been reading these two cards together. You're getting freedom, but maybe like more than you want. Okay. This makes a lot of sense, because I'm just thinking of, there was a time in my life where I had like no commitments, very minimal responsibilities, and actually that surplus of freedom ended up being almost paralyzing, It's like when you don't have any time constraints, for example, it's very easy to say, oh, I can do that whenever. You know, like if you have a deadline, if you're writing a book and you have a deadline, then you're going to finish that book. But if you're just on your own, independent, and you like have a dream to write a book, it's very easy to be like, oh, I can start it tomorrow. I can start it whenever. And I think that these two cards together are kind of showing that like too much of a good thing can be counterproductive. Like too much freedom can actually lead to a lack of structure or a lack of discipline. At least that's how I experienced it. I feel really grateful that I was able to go to school for a year because it got me back into the habit of like waking up at a same or similar time every day and like getting stuff done. It got me back into that habit of discipline. So now even that I have freedom, I can live in that disciplined way. So yeah, like too much freedom could be a bad thing. Even if technically you don't have to finish things by a certain time, it might be good to try to give yourself deadlines or like try to stick to a routine, even if like technically there's no consequence if you fall off the routine. Try to give yourself a little bit of structure. And it's interesting that this message is coming up because I think what this means is that a lot of you are going to be embarking on a new journey that's independent. Like you are your own boss, which gives you a lot of freedom. I just see someone who like they used to work in a company and they're like, oh, like I hate having to do things when my boss wants me to do them. I hate having my boss like breathe down my neck and ask me when I'm going to be done this. I can't wait to be my own boss. And then they become their own boss and they're like, damn it, I wish I had a boss telling me that this needs to be done by Monday because I'm not going to do it without that pressure. A little pressure is good. I think that's what these cards are getting at here. So for a lot of you who are embarking on like a new independent journey, try to give yourself a little bit of good pressure and a little bit of good discipline. Oh, we have, I am safe in the universe. All life loves and supports me. You are really entering into an era where you truly feel like the universe has your back and you truly feel safe to move forward and do what you want. And all of these stars in the sky, like I'm getting emotional. That's your ancestors. Your ancestors are in the stars. That's beautiful. There may be certain like constellations that are related to your ancestors or the place that they came from, but there's just a feeling they want you to know, like when you look up into the sky and see the stars, like we're right there looking down on you. And also when we were alive those hundreds of years ago, we were looking at the same stars as you, we were looking at the same moon as you. Like that's so beautiful. And then we have two number 20s here, 2020. Maybe 2020, well, it was a significant year for all of us, I think, but you know, if there's something that happened in 2020 that relates to like the projects you're trying to start or like the journey that you want to go on, that could be a confirmation. The number 20 is also the number of the Judgment card. So answering your calling, resurrection. We spoke about, you know, maybe something, a passion from your childhood coming back. Oh my God, I just realized there's literally a face in the stars. Like that's your ancestors saying we're in the stars, and then there's a face in the stars. Oh my gosh. That reminds me of like the scene in Lion King where like Mufasa is in the sky. Inner space and universal knowledge. You have access to a lot of wisdom from within you, and your ancestors coming through so strongly for this group. They have a lot of wisdom to share with you. I'm not saying you do this, but there's a message coming through that's like, don't make the assumption that humans are like getting smarter as time goes by. Just because technology is advancing doesn't necessarily mean that humans are drastically more like smart and civilized than they were hundreds of years ago. They have a lot of wisdom that we have lost, actually. They want to share with you lost wisdom. Oof, I'm like getting chills from this reading. You're going through such a powerful shift. Like, you're getting your shit together. Like we saw from the first part of the reading, you're getting your life together. And when I say together, I don't mean by some like standard that is placed on you. I mean, you're getting your life the way you want it. Wow, I'm so excited for this group. So these are all the messages I have for my group number 2s. I'm gonna end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch dozens of exclusive, timeless pick-a-card readings just like this one. And you can also suggest topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I'll also have my latest release linked down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, anything that I do. I appreciate it so much. It's because of you guys that I'm traveling right now, and I'm very, very grateful. I'm with ASO and we're having the best time ever. And I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you for allowing me to do this. And I'm sending so much love to you, to your ancestors, your higher self, your spirit guides, your whole spiritual team, anyone who came up in this reading, anyone's energy who appeared directly or indirectly. I'm sending them love, and lots of love to all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms and in the stars. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose this beautiful piece of agate, this is going to be a reading. As you can probably tell, I am not in my usual location. I am traveling, so that's why this setup is looking a little bit different. And I apologize if the quality is not what it usually is. We are doing our best. So we're gonna start off this reading with an energy check to make sure that this is your group. So if what I describe in this part sounds like the situation you are curious about, then keep watching. It is possible that this doesn't sound like the situation you originally wanted to hear about, but it may sound like something else that you are going through in your life. And in that case, it's totally up to you if you want to keep watching or not. But if it doesn't sound like anything that you are currently going through, then you might want to try listening to a different group. So without further ado, let's take a look at your cards. We are starting off with bones, death, endings, the past, and we have the number 22. Then we have communication with the number 9. We have vine, seek out information that will help you. And then we have desk with pay attention to your work. Okay, I do want to mention the numbers here, 22 and 9. That could be a date. It could be September 22nd. So someone could have that as a birthday, or that's actually really soon. Like if you're watching this when it's posted, that is a date coming up very soon. So something could be happening on that day, or just the numbers 22 and 9 could be relevant to you. So this is a pretty clear message here with the bones card. It does seem that for those of you who chose this group, you have been through some sort of ending. And I am getting the feeling that this is not really an ending that you are happy about. like you wish that it didn't end. And, you know, with this communication, even like the rainy sky in this card, it is giving like a sad feeling. It seems that after this ending, you're waiting to hear from someone or waiting to hear back from someone. So an easy example of this would be like if a relationship has ended and you didn't want it to end, and you're still kind of deep down hoping that this person is going to reach out to you. Or perhaps you're hoping from some closure from this person. Another way of interpreting this message could be, for example, if your job has ended and you're upset about this because, you know, you need to have a job, you need to make money. And so you're looking for new jobs, but you're not hearing back from anyone. So after this ending, there's a lack of communication that is upsetting you or that is making you nervous, whether you've cut contact with someone and it's them specifically that you want to hear back from, or like that job example, like we're, you know, putting ourselves out there for new offers coming our way and nothing's really coming in. Like that's the feeling with these two cards. Another example that is coming to me, this is kind of specific, so maybe this is just for a few of you. For some of you, there is maybe a person who, ever since an ending has happened, you don't hear from them anymore. So for example, you had a best friend at work. You know, you had such good times together at work and like you would go out together after work, like your work bestie. And ever since you stopped working there, this work bestie has not texted you. And it's like, what the heck? I thought we were friends. Is it only because we work together? Another example is maybe you worked on a project with a love interest of yours, and now that the project is completed, you don't talk anymore. Like it's kind of sad. It's like, where did you go? Why don't we talk anymore? I thought we had something more, but maybe it's just because we had this project in common, or we were going to school together, or we worked together. It's like there's someone that you miss. There's someone that you want to hear from. That's a specific example for some of you. And I obviously read this before, but I just realized we have the pay attention to your work card. So for many of you, this could be a career situation where you are like looking for jobs, putting things out there and nothing's really coming back. Some of you, if this is like a personal relationship, like a romance or friendship or family situation, it could be that you guys are currently trying to focus on your work to feel better, you know, focus on building yourself up, focus on making your money, focus on what you're doing to kind of take your mind off of the sadness, or to not dwell on the sadness. With seek out information that will help you, you could be checking in on someone a lot. Like if there's a specific person who hasn't been communicating with you, you could be like looking at their social media a lot, or you could be watching a lot of readings about them, or you could be asking mutual people in your life about them, like trying to get more information about what is going on their end, like what's going through their head, maybe trying to figure out why they haven't reached out to you. This could also be, you could be in a phase where you're doing a lot of research, especially maybe those of you who are looking for work right now. Like you are trying to do research about what companies you should apply to, or what opportunities are available, or what's the best way to make a good impression, what's the best way to find success. It's like you're trying to fix this lack of communication, essentially. I think it is something that is upsetting. And we're either like doing things to fix it, or if it's really out of your control, it's like you're just trying to focus on other things so that you don't have to be thinking about this disappointment. So a few different scenarios coming up here. If that does sound like something that you are going through, and of course something you would like to hear about, then keep watching. So for this next part, we're going to use the tarot and see if your perception in this situation is accurate. So you might have some ideas about why this separation has happened, why this communication has ended. You may have some perceptions about how the person on the other side is feeling about you. And maybe that will differ from person to person because this is a general reading, but we're going to see if your take on this situation is accurate. Okay, I'm going to do one more shuffle because none of them have been very good. Okay, that's a nice one. Okay, group number 3s. We want to know if group number 3's perception is accurate. Something that is coming right away is that if there's someone you're waiting for communication from, they're either very confused right now or they're very disorganized. Is group number 3's perception accurate? So we are starting off with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. It says lost opportunity, stressing about finances, unfulfilled potential, retracting of offer, missed chances, scarcity, and deficiency. Okay, so what's coming through with this Ace of Pentacles, you know, some of those keywords were very literal, so there maybe was already a message in those that was relevant to you. But if you're waiting on someone specific to reach out, I feel like with this Ace of Pentacles, it's unlikely that they will. Or even if they did, it wouldn't be what you wanted. It would lack substance. It would lack the substance that you really want. And it wouldn't be something really like long-term or meaningful. And there's an example that's coming to my mind of someone who applied for a job and then, you know, they didn't hear back. Let's say they didn't hear back for like weeks. They're waiting for an email and they keep checking their inbox and it's not there. And so they're thinking like, oh, maybe it's in my spam folder, or like maybe they forgot to respond. Like they have all these ideas in their head. One day they log on and they see, oh my gosh, it's an email from them. And then they click on it. And it's like, they took all this time just to say like, thank you for your application, but we're gonna pass this time. It's a feeling of like, I waited so long for this communication. And then it's like, you really like just to tell me that? Like I could have figured you weren't really interested in me when you took weeks to respond, but okay. It's like that kind of feeling. Or, you know, having a person of interest that you want to be in a relationship with and you're really, really wanting them to reach out to you. But then when they do reach out, it's like, they're not really offering you anything. They're just being like, hey, or like watching your story, or you're exchanging a few messages and then they leave you on red again. So it's like, it's unlikely, I think, that the communication you want would come, but even if it does, it will kind of lack substance. It will lack substance. It will lack depth. It will lack, it won't lead to the future that you want, essentially. What else does group number 3 need to know about this situation? Okay, we have 2 coming out together. Interesting. We have the 10 of Cups and we have the 3 of Swords. So some of you guys, like, you were really hoping for a happily ever after in this situation. You thought that this situation was your happily ever after, because this is what you want for yourself. The 10 of Cups, it says happiness, divine love, blissful relationship, harmony, alignment, family, love and support, fulfillment, emotional stability, and domestic joy. I completely understand why you would want this. And it seems that maybe you thought that you would find this with this specific person or with this specific group or organization. And with the 10 of Cups, because, you know, 10 is the highest number in the minor arcana cards, it is coming to me this feeling of having all of your eggs in one basket. Like this, it seemed like this was the one that you really wanted to work out. So, you know, maybe you were pursuing this person romantically, and then you weren't talking to anyone else. You weren't like taking other offers because like you really, really wanted to make it work with them. Of course, that can be applied to situations that aren't a romantic relationship, but just to give an example of that energy of like having all of your eggs in that basket and like really truly wanting it to work out there, thinking, you know, you have your long-term future here, you have your happily ever after here. But then we have the Three of Swords, which came out at the same time as this card, and it says heartache, emotional pain, sorrow, trauma, grief, hurt, loss, depression, and broken. This literally is like getting your heart stabbed. There's swords going through the heart. And it's interesting that in this deck there's an eye on it, and the eye is open. It's like this heartbreak should be a wake-up call, or like, I don't know if that's the right word, but the pain that you feel is actually allowing you to see the reality of the situation. This, whatever is happening, like, I think there is a piece of advice to take it at face value. Like if someone is not contacting you, it's because they don't want to contact you. Like rather than reading into things very deeply, if you applied for a job and they're being flaky about scheduling the next interview, or you haven't heard from them, like they're probably not super excited about hiring you. It's like just taking it, rather than trying to assume what the intentions are or what the hidden feelings are. I think there's a message to just take the reality of the situation, what's happening in the 3D. You know, even if your person of interest isn't messaging you, like the fact that they might have hidden feelings for you, it's not very useful. It's not very practical, because the fact of the matter is they're not communicating to you. So like, even if they do have feelings for you, like we're not getting anywhere anyway. It's like, I guess, making decisions based on the reality of what is actually happening, rather than like what the potential might be, or what might be happening in the 5D, or what someone's hidden feelings and intentions might be, like rather than reading deeply into those. Like the reality of the situation with this Three of Swords here seems to be that like this situation is not making you happy. This person or the dynamic with them is not making you happy. And I think that this Three of Swords with the eye, it's almost about like waking up to that pain and seeing that pain and recognizing it, and not making yourself wallow there any longer or like stick around there. So I would say for this group, it would be an inaccurate perception to think that like this ending is gonna, what am I trying to say? That to think that it's not over. Like the ending happened and that's it. And like, even if this person or group did come back, it wouldn't be what you want anyway. It would be more of this. It would be accurate to say like, this is not my 10 of Cups. This situation is not my 10 of Cups, and I'm going to move on to bigger and better things. So let's get a couple more cards to see if there is anything else you need to know. So next we have the Four of Cups. Contemplation, apathy, reevaluation, feeling unfulfilled, missed opportunity. Wasn't that on here as well? Oh, lost opportunity. indifference, discontent, and melancholy. Oh, I should mention as well, we have Moon in Cancer here. We have Mars in Pisces here. We have Saturn in Libra here. And then this is all earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So those could be significant placements. And, you know, with the Four of Cups, as you can tell from the keywords, this is also not, it's not really a card that talks about fulfillment or satisfaction. It is, again, about being disappointed in this situation, not being happy with what is offered to you. It kind of has the feeling like with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse and with this Four of Cups, it feels a bit like a too little too late. It is interesting as well. In the upright, we have this hand offering a cup, but the reversal is offering a pentacle. It means that what you might be offered is some kind of sentiment, some kind of emotion that doesn't really help you in a tangible way. So again, using like the job example, you might get that email that's like, we're going to pass on your application this time, but we really appreciate you. We really appreciate that you came all the way to interview, and it was lovely to meet you. It's like, yes, that is a nice sentiment, but that doesn't change the reality of things. Or like if someone backstabbed you and then they're like, oh, but I'm sorry I did that. It's like, I guess it feels good to get that apology, or, you know, I really did have a lot of fun with you. I really did like you, but I'm gonna have to end things. It's like, you know, getting that positive sentiment from them or getting that apology, whatever it might be, it might feel nice, but it's like at the end of the day, the shitty thing still happened in my tangible reality. And some of you guys might be holding on to the positive sentiments as like a glimmer of hope. Like, I'm just imagining, let's say, like you broke up with someone and they said, I feel like we could have been really good together if it weren't for this one thing. And then you like ruminate over that. They're like, they said we could be really good together. Like, that means that they have feelings for me. That means that it's possible that we could be together. Like, if only this one thing changes. It's like holding on to that, like, one sentiment that felt good when really, like, the situation is not delivering anything tangible or anything that you can rely on. There's that kind of feeling with this Four of Cups. And I do think if we stay holding on, if we stay attached in the situation, we could miss out on other beautiful opportunities and offers that the universe wants to give us. And I think that's what this like missed opportunity and lost opportunity is talking about, that the universe has so much else to offer you, but if you are holding on to these bones, so to speak, if you're holding on to this thing that ended, you may not even see the offers that are in front of you. You may not even see the other blessings that are in front of you. So let's get one final card for my group number 3s. I'll take it this way, and it's the Fool in reverse. So it's interesting because, you know, in the upright, being the number 0 card, this would make me think of a clean slate, like a completely clean slate, a completely fresh start. So yes, I do think here there is, you know, there is a feeling of struggling to move on. And also this makes sense. I think for many of you, you could be inaccurately perceiving the situation because of a fear of starting over, a fear of taking a leap of faith into the unknown. So you're like this person who is standing at the edge of the cliff, and it's time for you to take a leap of faith into a new chapter. But because you don't know, because it's unknown, it's like you would rather hold on to something, even though it might be causing you pain, because it is so familiar. I remember, this was like years ago, but there was this person that I was really hung up on. And even though I wasn't happy with the way things were, I held on to it for so long. And then I got a reading, and honestly, I had gotten a lot of readings that told me to move on from them, but like I was stubborn about it. But there was this one reading where the person said that, again, it's likely I won't end up with this person, but someone new is coming in. And I did not like that message. I did not want to hear it. And it was like the idea of someone new, I didn't like that. You know, it was the unknown. Taking a leap of faith into like the possibility of a completely new person that I haven't met yet, that I have no idea about. I didn't like that. I liked my own fantasy. I liked my own idea of what my life was supposed to look like. I'm like, you can't throw someone new in the mix. Like, we didn't agree on that. I didn't like that unknown factor. And so even after hearing that reading, I was kind of like, I don't know about that. But lo and behold, someone new did come in, and and that's my partner now of like 3 years. So, you know, I think it's about being open to something completely new and beautiful that the universe could, I'm like getting emotional, that the universe could have in store for you. Your soulmate might be someone that you have not even met yet, that you don't even know exists. And, you know, your ego might not like that because you have this idea of like, no, it's this person that I'm super familiar with. It's this person that I've attached to. It's this person that I've been manifesting. What do you mean something completely new? Same thing with your dream job. Same thing with the place where you're meant to live. Like what you're meant to do with your life. There could be a lot of elements to that are still completely unknown to you. And that doesn't mean that like your intuition is weak or anything like that. It's just your brain couldn't conceive of it yet. Like, not everything in our future can be known, and life is the expert at throwing us curveballs and throwing us surprises, and it's beautiful. The unknownness of life is beautiful. And in the unknown lies not bad things, but things that are even better than you could have ever imagined. I think your spiritual team wants you to entertain the idea that what if the unknown was full of wonderful things? What if the unknown was full of things like beyond unfathomably amazing blessings beyond my comprehension, and I can't predict it because I can't even conceive of it yet? This full in reverse, it kind of feels like a resistance to that unknown, a resistance to the completely new, to the unfamiliar. Yeah, it literally says afraid to start something new. With carelessness here, I don't think this is you. I think this was someone who was careless with you. You know, right before we started to shuffle and pull these cards, there was a message about someone is confused, like someone isn't sure, and someone's really disorganized, and it seems like you hadn't been handled with care, or like you hadn't been prioritized. I should also mention, I think I forgot to mention this, but this is Uranus energy, so an Aquarius person could be significant. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing from the tarot. So to finish off this reading now, we are going to take a look at these oracle cards for any last messages and advice from your spiritual team. We have masks, hiding, safety, ruled by desire to fit in, fear of standing out, beholden to the collective. Use your masks, but with discernment. And then I'm going to take this together, so they're like one message. We have dream with the number 11. And this says, it's basically saying that your dreams will come true. Like when you wish for something from the bottom of your heart, it will come true. And I think, judging from the energy of this group, I think that, I mean, I can't tell you what your dream is, but I think that your dream is this 10 of Cups, is being, first of all, being at peace, emotionally fulfilled, surrounded by people who love you and treasure you, and you love and treasure them, and you can share your affection with each other. You may wish for a family, whether that's, you know, having a spouse and children, or whether that's finding your soul family, your chosen family. I think deep down your dream is to love and be loved. Like, it's just as simple as that. And this card is saying those wishes that come from a deep place in your heart, they will come true. And this is also encouraging you to, like the what am I trying to say? Like the being on this card is doing, to daydream and to fantasize and to really think about the life that you want to live. And this card, it says to get really specific and really detailed about it, which I know is a bit of a different message when we just talked about like being open to the unknown. But a good example of this would be like if you want to manifest a romantic soulmate, saying like, I want to manifest Daniel or Daniela. I don't know why, that's just the name that came to my head. I want to manifest Daniel. Like, that might feel very specific, but this is more like to be detailed. Daniel is not detailed. So when you are wanting to manifest your soulmate in this example, you might say, I want to manifest a partner who has these personality traits, or who has these physical traits, or who has this background, who is on this path in their journey, who has this knowledge, who has these skills, and I want our relationship to be like this, and I want us to spend our days together doing this. I think that's what this is talking about, to get into those details, and then say to the universe, you know, I don't know who it is out there who matches these traits. I don't know how I'm going to meet them. I don't know when I'm supposed to meet them, but this is what I want, and I trust in your infinitely intelligent way and timing of bringing it to me. So getting really detailed like that, and then letting go and handing it over to the universe of how and when it all might happen. And if there's, you know, if there's something better out there for me than what I'm describing, I'm very open to that as well. Being open to the universe's creative process. We have the masks card, which is talking about use your masks, but with discernment. Intuitively, this is giving me the feeling of not, I guess, being discerning about who you are vulnerable with, who you are intimate with, and realizing that there's a difference between wearing a mask and being fake. Sometimes the masks are there to protect us. Sometimes the masks are there because we're being selective. Sometimes we need to wear masks that they're not showing a fake face, they're just showing certain facets of us. So there's a message of being protective of your energy, of being discerning, moving forward about whom you open up to. And I think also not seeing that as a sad thing. You know, like I can't trust everyone, and that's okay. I can't be super intimate with everyone, and that's okay. I can't open up and show my whole self to everyone, and that's okay. Maybe there's like a shift in perspective here where we used to see that as a sad thing, but in fact, it makes it even more beautiful when we can trust and be intimate and be vulnerable with someone. If you could do that with every single person, I mean, that would be kind of awesome, but it loses, I think it would lose some of its beauty of like finding that person or those people that you're just so very compatible with, that you feel so completely safe with. It's that classic knowing the dark allows you to treasure the light even more. And not everybody needs to know like the true you. Not everybody needs to know your plans. Not everybody needs to know what you're up to. There's a message of that as well. We also have, oh, this is literally like the 10 of Cups in Oracle card form. My heart is overflowing with joy. So you need to know, group number 3, that your 10 of Cups is out there. And this is your heart healing itself, I think, because earlier in the reading, we had this 3 of Swords heart that has swords in it. And interesting, that is like transparent as well, whereas this heart is opaque. You cannot see into it. So maybe that's another message about like maybe opening up too much has gotten you hurt, or like trusting too much has gotten you hurt. And again, it's like I can't trust everyone, and that is okay. It means that the ones I can trust are even more of an amazing blessing. Yeah, this looks like your heart healing itself and overflowing with joy. So your spiritual team really wants you to know that your overflowing bliss is out there. Your dreams are out there. They just really want to reassure that to you. And I know when you go through endings, when you go through disappointments, especially if you're a little bit on the dramatic side like me, sometimes it feels like you could never be happy again after that, or like, you know, this was supposed to be my happily ever after and I've lost it. But life has a way of bringing things that are, oh, I'm getting so emotional. Life has a way of bringing things that are better than you could have ever imagined. And then finally, we have interesting. We have endurance is the key to success with the number 2. Honestly, oh, the same way like we said September 22nd could be a relevant date. Also, February 11th or November 2nd could be a relevant date. I think with this card, this is really just your spiritual team saying to hang in there. This is one of those situations where time, it will only get better with time. Like whatever has happened to you, like I don't want to be a bummer, but it's coming through that like it does inherently suck. And so if you're upset, like you are very much within your rights to be upset. Anyone would feel that way. And these kind of letdowns, they are a part of life. And unfortunately, like there's no way around it. There's no way to speed it up. I'm thinking about how, oh, like I'm gonna cry if I think about this, but my cat passed away recently, and like there's nothing you can do to really like get over it faster or to feel better. Like you just have to be sad. You just have to grieve it, whatever happened. And if you're going through something like that, my heart goes out to you. That's why I have this this little paw. Yeah. Baffy. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to like make it about myself, but just that to say, shitty things happen, and you gotta be sad, you gotta feel the emotions, and you should give yourself the grace to, you know, take as much time as you need and to normalize the feelings that you're feeling. I think especially as spiritual people, we can tend to feel like we have to get back to our high vibe. We have to get back to positive thinking, so that we don't manifest negative things, or we have to just be like, oh, this happened for a reason. This is part of my path. Like the universe is bringing something better. Like, yes, but that doesn't mean it doesn't freaking hurt in the moment. So I think endurance here, it's just a message to like hang on, to keep hanging on, to keep pushing through. Things will be bad and then they will get better, because that's life. Like, this will not be a night sky forever. It can't be. The sun has to come up, and your 10 of Cups has to find you. Your 10 of Cups is like, don't think I forgot about you. Don't think I'm not out there. I'm still there. And I'm coming to find you. So we just have to hang in there. I'm thinking about albatross right now, because I do have an oracle deck. It's called Saltwater Reading Cards, I believe. It's a really nice deck, and there is an albatross card, and I believe it says endurance on it, because them birds have a lot of endurance. So that might be like a relevant animal, a spirit animal that could help you through this time. I do not know a lot about them off the top of my head, but if you did feel called to look into albatrosses, it's like a seabird, they might have a message for you at this time that could help you. And actually, they go through a lot of tough stuff in their life, but then finally when it's time for them to have babies, I think, then they settle down and things get easier. So you'll find your family, you'll find your tribe, you'll find your true love or loves, you'll find your happily ever after. You will be the albatross that finds its mate and nests. Yeah, so group number 3s, these are all the messages I have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I was definitely quite emotional throughout this reading. My higher self is definitely like right there with you. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting me deliver these messages to you. And I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this. But if you're not having a wonderful day, don't force yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself, because there are many, many, many wonderful days and wonderful nights to come in your not so far future, sooner than you think. And if you, every time I say something different in my outro, I like forget. I forget what I'm supposed to say. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have a link down below, my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch dozens of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one. And you can also choose the topics for future videos. I'll link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that was an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here. Group number 3s, I'm sending lots of love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading directly or indirectly. I'm sending love to all of your beautiful future soulmates and soul family members that you have not met yet, and to all the beautiful places that will welcome you. I'm sending love there too. Sending love to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 4s. So if you guys chose the Shungite, this is going to be a reading. As you can probably tell, I am not in my usual spot. I'm traveling right now, so the setup is a bit different, and I apologize if the quality is not what it normally is. Please bear with me. We are going to start off this reading with an energy check using these oracle cards. So if what I describe here does sound like the situation you are asking about, then keep watching. It is possible that it doesn't sound like what you originally wanted to ask about, but it sounds like a different situation in your life. If that is the case, it's totally up to you whether you want to keep watching or not. But if it really doesn't sound like anything that you are currently going through, then you might want to try listening to a different group. So without further ado, let's get started. Group number 4s, we are starting with Coyote. We have the number 31 and the keyword trickster and survivor. Then we have preparation with the number 37. We have moon, changes in your life. And then we have December. Okay, so we have the numbers 31 and 37, which could be significant. There could be someone born on the 31st, or the 31st of the month could be an important time. Someone who's 37 or someone who's 31 could be significant. With the moon here, this could be indicative of Cancer energy, a Cancer person, or Cancer season, which is late June to late July. That could be an important time. Or actually the next month, because the moon relates to a month. The next month could be significant. And then we also have December. Lots of time frames coming up right off the bat for this group. Of course, this is timeless, and you could be watching this at any time of the year. But any of those times that I just mentioned, especially if they are coming up soon, that could be a time where a significant change is happening. But overall, looking at all of the energy of these cards together, it is giving me a very specific energy. So you'll probably know if this is your group. I'm getting the energy of a bear who is preparing to go into hibernation. Because we have, of course, we have this preparation here. We have, obviously this isn't a bear, but we have an animal and survivor. And then we have December, which is like a cold winter, and we have changes in your life. So it feels to me like this, I mean, it doesn't have to be a bear actually, because I think several different animals hibernate. But it's giving me the feeling of an animal who instinctively feels that some change is coming, and so they have to nourish themselves and rest in order to prepare for it. So how, hibernating animals would eat like a crap ton of food and find a place to like burrow so that they can sleep and make it through the winter. Or this could even be the energy of a caterpillar who instinctively feels like some change is coming for me. I'm about to turn into something. I don't know if caterpillar knows that it's going to turn into a butterfly, but instinctively it can feel that it needs to prepare for something. And so again, it starts to eat a bunch of food in preparation for this change because it needs energy to change. So if we translate these analogies into what you may be going through, group number 4, you may not know exactly what is changing in your life, but I think many of you are instinctively feeling that there is some sort of big breakthrough or shift or even ascension that you are about to go through. And you at this time may feel like you are in a winter sort of energy, so to speak. You may feel more introspective. You may feel like you're wanting to spend a lot of time alone. You may not have a lot of physical energy right now. You may not have a lot of social energy right now. Like you could be getting socially drained more than usual and just needing more time to decompress. You may feel like you are eating more, or just like changes in your appetite, changes in your energy levels. But it's like energetically, you are in a cocoon, or you're like getting ready to go into a cocoon, or you're getting ready to go into hibernation. You feel like these changes are coming. So very specific message. Like I said, I think you will definitely know if you're in this energy. But in terms of the perception, because we're going to go into the tarot now and see if your perception is accurate, I think what we'll be looking at is these feelings of something big is changing and I need to prepare for that. This slowing down that I'm feeling, this period of rest that I'm feeling, this period of stillness that I'm feeling, it's because I need to recharge and accumulate energy for big changes. That's like the very specific perception that is coming up here for this group. So we are going to use the tarot and see whether this is accurate. By the way, guys, I'm sorry if my voice is kind of like scratchy. It's because I just woke up. So I just drank some water. But yeah, I'm not sick or anything. Sometimes people comment like worried that I'm sick because of my voice. That's usually because it's morning. So let's get into it. Oh my gosh. Try that again. Okay, that's good. So, group number 4s. Is their perception accurate? Okay, so, oh my gosh, we have the Lovers in reverse. So it's funny that this comes out because, freaking, what am I trying to say? We had that message earlier about feeling more introverted, wanting to spend more time alone. And if this were in the upright, you know, this would talk about relationships. This is Gemini energy as well. So this would indicate like someone who is very communicative, who is a little bit of a social butterfly. And so it feels like right now for you guys, that is not the vibe. It's like, this is right away saying that if you're feeling this way, your perception of what's going on is accurate. Like you're not in a funk, group number 4. Like if you feel like you're in a funk or something is wrong with you, I would say that that's inaccurate. If you are embracing this energy, and if you're recognizing that like energetically you're preparing for something, then yes, your perception is accurate. And honestly, I felt that even before we got into the tarot. I just didn't want to get ahead of myself. But I'm like, oh no, you know what's going on. Like your soul knows what's going on. You may not know exactly what the changes are, but you can tell there's some like big breakthrough coming in your life. So if that's how you're feeling, yes, your perception is accurate. There is another way I could interpret this card where it's really just about focusing on yourself. You may feel, some of you guys may feel like for example, if you're single or if you got out of a relationship, you may feel like, okay, I'm not really meant to be like meeting new people right now. This is not really a time for me to be dating or like actively looking for new friends. Like, I think I'm just supposed to really like get to know myself right now. I'm supposed to spend time alone right now. And actually, the first keyword of this card says self-love. It says imbalance, disharmony, breakup, arguments, discord, bad choices, conflict, detachment, indecision. Something that might be happening for you guys right now is that some wounds, in some cases it could be wounds, or it could just be feelings of discord, feelings of disharmony, things that weren't working in your relationships or things that didn't work in your past relationships. You could be revisiting those right now, or those energies could be coming back because there was a feeling of being in an introspective energy, and something you may be doing is kind of examining or reliving past relationships, but particularly what didn't work in those relationships, ways in which maybe in some cases you felt like boundaries were crossed, or you were mistreated, or you weren't respected, or you just felt uncomfortable in a relationship. And I think what you're doing is getting to the root cause of that so that you can release that, so that that doesn't happen again. Of course, there will be a time for you to examine what has worked in your relationships, because it's important to get to the root cause of what is working as well, so that you can consciously create more of it. But just with the current energy you might be in right now, it's like, you know, thinking my relationship with my ex, or my relationship with those people from high school, or the relationship with my parents. Like, what was it that really rubbed me the wrong way? so that I can consciously create a different experience. And so you're having this period of introspection and reflection, so that you can learn your lessons about what you want in a relationship. And when you integrate those lessons, when it does come time for you to meet new people, you're going to have such a better experience. Not just because it's a better type of person who is coming through for you, but because you have matured, you have become better at meeting your own needs, and you've become better at stating your needs. You've become better at communicating. You've become better at enforcing your boundaries. So it's not always just about the type of person we're attracting. It's also like our own ability to communicate and be in a healthy relationship. And I definitely think the next person that's coming in for you is a really, really good match, group number 4. So for those of you who are wanting to manifest a romantic partner, the next partner coming in, I this sounds like hyperbole, but I kind of want to say it's going to be like 100 times better than your previous relationship, or like the friends that you're manifesting, you're going to mesh 100 times better, because of this inner work that you've done. And also just because they're better for you, like as people. With this card as well, I did briefly mention Gemini energy, but yeah, Gemini placements could be significant, whether that's you or someone else. And I also kind of want to say Sagittarius, just because the Lover's reversed, and like the reverse of Gemini is Sagittarius. So, okay, let's see what else we have for my number 4s. Okay, oh, we have the Tower in the reverse. So some of you guys have gone through, maybe you've gone through a kind of shocking ending in your life, and the Tower in reverse is sort of like you recovering from that. We have fear of change, averting disaster, moment has already passed, oppression, carelessness, negligence, and apathy. This is actually giving me the feeling of like the same patterns repeating over and over again. Because we have like the Tower is kind of, it's not a good energy per se. It's unstable. It's shaky. It's a pattern that's not good for us. But with fear of change, I think a lot of us stay in negative or unhealthy patterns just because it's what we know. Our brain likes to hold on to what is familiar. So there may have been situations in your life where that were unhealthy, but you kept engaging in them, or you kept holding on to them because that was your normal, so to speak. Like that's what your brain thought was normal and safe, just because that's all it knew. And I've heard of, have I experienced this myself? Maybe a little bit. And I've definitely heard of people saying that if they've had a history of unhealthy relationships, when they get into the healthy relationship, that actually feels weird. That actually feels uncomfortable, because it's like, it's just new and unfamiliar. And I think sometimes our brain flags like familiar, good, unfamiliar, bad. So there is a feeling of you guys, like you're ending some unhealthy pattern that you were in. It could very well be about relationships because of this Lover's card. But it can really be anything. But you're entering into a cycle, you're starting healthy patterns from here on out. And I think it will feel kind of strange at first. But yeah, a lot of the time in the upright with the Tower, we talk about something's not built on a solid foundation, and so it needs to fall apart. With this coming out in the reverse, this new phase that you're entering into, we're starting to build things on solid foundation. We're starting to build habits that last. We're starting to build relationships that last. And we're starting to build things in our life that are sustainable and that nourish us. Some of you guys could be leaving, these are just some examples, but you could be leaving a pattern of like being in casual relationships with people that don't really go anywhere, to really finding your tribe, really finding your forever people or your long-term people. You could be leaving a pattern of, and I'm sorry because I know that this might be like a triggering thing to say for some people, but what's coming to me is like leaving a pattern of like crash diets, doing things that are short-term and not really sustainable, and moving into like not dieting anymore and just like living a balanced lifestyle. It could be the same thing with work, like moving away from this pressure to hustle and to overwork yourself, and going through this pattern of overexertion, burnout, and then, working more moderately, working in a way that is more gentle with yourself, which is sustainable and fulfilling and healthy. This is almost giving me like temperance vibes, which is funny because like we said Sag energy could be significant, and like the Sag card is the temperance card. Yeah, this is kind of giving me Sag vibes. We had Gemini, Sag, and Cancer coming out, and Mars here. So like someone who has Mars in Gemini, Mars in Sag, Mars in Cancer could also be significant, or Moon in Gemini, Moon in Sag. Oh my gosh, I need more water. I'm so freaking thirsty in the mornings, and also because I like woke up and immediately just started yapping. So what else do we have for my number 4s? We have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, lack of focus, quality, motivation or ambition, perfectionism, lack of desired output, lazy, dead-end job, low skills, and mediocrity. I think it's time for you guys to level up. Okay, this makes sense. So this mediocrity, this is not talking about you. I think this is talking about what you've been working on. It's almost like you can't perform well because you can't be bothered to. And I don't think, this is not a judgment on you, by the way. This is like just your heart isn't in it. So, for example, let's say at work, you've noticed that it's harder for you to pay attention, or like the quality of your work is not as good. The 8 of Pentacles, it can talk a lot about repetition. So there may just be some things in your life that have become like monotonous. And I don't really think the vibe here is that you should expect high quality work from yourself at this time. It may be time for a break, or it may be time to change the work that you're doing. So like using myself as an example, if I start to notice that I'm spacing out a lot while I'm doing my readings, or I'm just kind of saying the same messages over and over again, or like the readings are not hidden. Like if I notice, even if you guys notice, like if the readings are not doing what they're supposed to do, that in that case, in this example, that is not a sign for me to keep pushing it. Okay? Like if the quality starts to be compromised, that's a sign that I need to take a break. That's a sign that I need to do something else for a while. You know, that's the vibe here. So if you're, and you know, this can go for any job, right? If you start to notice that you're making more mistakes, that you don't have as much motivation, that the quality of your work is not as good, that's not a sign to judge yourself. That's not a sign to like whip yourself into shape. I don't like that expression. That's not a sign to like start disciplining yourself more. That is an inaccurate perception. That's like, we got to take a break, okay? We need to not do this for a while, or we need to not do this at all anymore. And I don't really feel like telling you which one it is, because that would feel like telling you what to do. But the message is like, we either take a break from the work that we're doing, or this work just doesn't fulfill us anymore and we need to do something else. A temporary walking away from your work to recharge and to gain new inspiration. Or for some of you, it could be a permanent walking away from what you're doing. And I think knowing which one it is, it's like, do you care? Like, do you like what you do, that you care that the quality is being compromised? Like in my example, if my readings quality started to go down, hell yeah, I'm gonna care. So that would be my sign to, okay, let's take a break. Let's live some life, because living life and having these varied experiences, that helps me to be inspired and to bring new messages. So maybe I just need to take a break. But if your quality is being compromised because like you cannot be bothered, then you may not be doing the right job for you. Like we may need to do something else. And that's okay, by the way. Like, I think it's really important to know this low quality or declining quality is not a judgment. It's not a judgment. You know, if a dress doesn't fit you, that's not your fault. That's the dress's fault. If a job isn't fulfilling you, that's the job's fault. That's the vibe. One last card. I just noticed they're all reversal so far. So there really is this feeling of going inward. Our final card is the Fool in the upright. That's so beautiful. New beginnings, innocence, originality, fearlessness, free spirit, fresh hope, taking chances, new paths, spontaneity, and leap of faith. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful final tarot card to come out. This is a clean slate, the Fool. A clean slate, a new beginning, a fresh start. This is the breakthrough that you intuitively feel. So if you needed more confirmation, yes, your perception is accurate, that there's a new beginning coming, that there's a breakthrough coming, and everything you're going through right now is just a preparation for that. And I think it's so cool how we got, you know, all of these cards in reverse, you know, telling you to go inward, processing things, reflecting, learning lessons. And then our final card is in the upright, and it's talking about a fresh new beginning. Like, that's so beautiful, and it puts it together so succinctly, I think is the word. Yeah, I don't feel like I need to interpret the Fool card that much. It's just confirming, like, yep, all this is leading to a completely new beginning for you. And again, it's funny because the Fool is also like a leap of faith and jumping into the unknown. So it's kind of saying like, you don't have to know what this new chapter holds. You just have to know that it's coming. You just have to know that amazing things are coming for you. I would say if you're stressed or worried or like overly concerned with what does this new chapter hold and like trying to figure out the future, that may be kind of an inaccurate perception, because it's the perception that I need to control this outcome. I need to be completely aware of what's going on in this next chapter. Like the need to know, or the feeling that you need to have control, that would be inaccurate. If you're in a place of excitement and you're just like, I don't know what's coming, but I know that it's going to be good and I can't wait to see what life has planned for me, that would be very accurate, because it means you're perceiving that you're safe. You're perceiving that the universe has your back. You're perceiving that the unknown is exciting. You're perceiving that the universe has some amazing surprises up its sleeve for you. Yes, that would be accurate. Energetically, I'm feeling a little bit of similarities with group number 3. In some ways, this group almost feels like a continuation of group 3, like what comes after group 3. I don't know if you guys watched it or if you felt called to it, but you might just, judging what's coming out from here. I know it's a lot to watch like 2 groups in a row because they're kind of long, but I just wanted to mention that. So for the final part of our reading, we're going to take a look at these oracle cards for any other messages and advice from your spiritual team. Oh my gosh, we have Magician, which is also kind of a new beginning vibe, because, Fool is card number 0, and then in Tarot, Magician is card number 1. So there is a feeling of new beginnings coming for sure. It says, your talents are not limited. Your creativity is your superpower. Express individuality. And then we have fulfillment. That's really cool. We have the number 21, which is the world in tarot, which is the final major arcana. So we almost see you like going from 0 to 21. You've gone through a full cycle. This is really big. You've gone through a full cycle and you're closing a major cycle in your life and starting a completely new one. And what I want to tell you guys is that this new cycle, I think, is going to look completely different. It's going to be kind of unexpected for you. You could be relocating to somewhere very far away, or you could be discovering a talent of yours that is quite different than things that you have previously studied or learned or been interested in. Like, I don't know, it would be like someone who's been an engineer their whole life and now they make cupcakes and like they have a bakery, or someone who's been a tarot reader their whole life and now they're like a marine biologist. It's like the two are not even really, I mean, maybe there are ways that you can incorporate previous knowledge and experience into what you're doing, but it's a feeling of like, with like your talents are not limited, your creativity is your superpower. I really think it's like discovering a completely new talent that you have. And then because we have number 21 with the world, that made me think that maybe there's like a pretty big relocation happening. So, somewhere either really far away or somewhere where it's like a totally different language, totally different culture, totally different way of doing things. Like your way of life is going to be quite different. But of course, you're going to be feeling fulfilled. And oh my gosh, I just realized this card says like fulfillment is right around the corner for you. And so just take this time to like take a little breather, which is like, that's exactly what we've been talking about. Your breakthrough is around the corner. So take this time to rest right now. And it says, check in with yourself to make sure that you're putting out positive energy. And also that you will take your next step from a calm place. Interesting. So there's a lot of new unfamiliar energies coming in for you in this next chapter, but the vibe is that you're not going to be nervous. You're not going to be scared. You're going to feel weirdly calm in the face of all of these new and unfamiliar experiences, because deep down you know that it's divinely guided. For an example, I just saw someone putting in their 2 weeks notice at work, and they have no plan. Maybe they don't have a ton of savings. Maybe they don't have any potential new jobs lined up, but they just put in their 2 weeks notice. And their brain, their head is like, I should be scared right now. I should be panicking. But in their heart, they're not panicked. In their heart, they're like calm, because they're like, I don't know what the heck is coming next, but I feel divinely guided in this action of like quitting my job. This is just an example, by the way. I'm not telling anyone to like quit their job. It's just an example. I'm not telling anyone to not quit their job either. Sorry, the little paw has been upside down. Which is funny because we had a lot of reverse energy here. So next we have I radiate love and gratitude. And this, this was just talking about checking that you're putting out positive energy. So there is a message about being more conscious about the energy that you're emitting and the thoughts that you choose to hold. I'm definitely not someone who's like anti-negative energy. I think it's important to sit with our negative thoughts and emotions and not be afraid of them. But I think this is just about being mindful of what dominant thoughts are occupying your brain at any given moment. For example, my brain does have a little bit of a tendency towards negative and anxious thoughts, which I think a lot of us do. But sometimes I'll find like I'm just going about my day, maybe I'm eating or cleaning my house or taking my bike somewhere. And even just as an idle brain, I'll be thinking about something negative. It's not necessarily helpful. It's not like I'm doing shadow work or something. My brain is just filled with negative chatter for no freaking reason. And it would be helpful in those moments to just check in and be like, why am I choosing to entertain these thoughts right now when it's not really doing anything for me? There's a difference between sitting with your negative thoughts because you're trying to understand them, you're trying to make space for them, you're trying to help release them. That's useful negative thinking. And then there's just the negative thinking that because your brain is bored and you're just going in circles and it's not helping anything. And so I think there could be a message for this group to just be more mindful about, when your mind is idle, when you're going about your day, are the thoughts that occupy your brain making you feel good, or are they making you feel bad? And you can choose to, flick that switch and choose to focus on something more positive. And then finally, we have you came to serve. Tell me why, I know this is about serving your community and serving humanity, but I just imagine someone who's came to serve looks they came to serve. I wonder if some of you guys will be getting into fashion, getting into the fashion industry, or something that has to do with aesthetics, or something that has to do with branding. I know that's kind of vague, branding, marketing. You could also be getting into something about linguistics, studying languages or studying other cultures. I felt like there was something else, but I don't remember anymore. But anyway, I do see for a lot of you either a change in your career or a change in your approach to your career. And this may come from a place of focusing on service and being more consciously grateful about that you're able to do this work and that you're able to serve others, and that making it a lot more fulfilling for you. So I want to think of a concrete example for this. So like, let's say you're a professor. I'm thinking of like a professor at a really big school who has like classes of 100 people, and maybe that doesn't really fulfill them because what their soul is craving is like a one-on-one connection with the people that they teach, and to be more actively involved in their journey. And so maybe that person needs a change in the approach to their work. So maybe they would transition from like teaching huge classes over Zoom, for example, to like meeting in person and teaching one-on-one and really getting to know each person's individual journey and how they're going to apply these skills and their learning style so they can help them on a more personal level. That maybe makes them feel more like they are serving others because of that connection. That makes them feel, I'm grateful that I'm able to help these people. I'm grateful that I'm able to make these connections. This is just one example, of course, but if it's not a shift in like the type of work that you do, it could just be a shift in the approach of how you do the work. That would make you feel more like, wow, I'm really serving people. I'm really connecting with people. Clearly, like, connection is important in whatever you're doing. That one-on-one connection seems to be important. But this is also giving me light worker vibes. You came to serve. It's almost like this is your guide, or this is your soul family or your star family, and they're like, okay, you go down there and make us proud with your gifts, with your talents, and they're helping to guide you. So you're entering the next phase of your calling. And I really think for this group, like, I don't get the sense that you have one specific job that is your calling. I think that you have the calling to serve and to connect with others, and that's going to look different in different stages of your life. So what you've been doing up until now, for some time, that was the way for you to embody your calling. But now it's time to do something else. I really feel for this group, your calling doesn't look like one specific job, and it's going to change throughout your life. Over time, there will be ways that are more suited for you to be in your calling. And I think you're feeling like it's time to embrace this change. At least that's what it seems like. You can let me know, but I think on a soul level, you're ready to embrace change. Interesting. I just had like a fleeting taste, like someone taught me this word, clairgustance or something, of like sushi, because I tasted like the seaweed, and then the sushi rice has a bit of vinegar in it, so it was like that acidic flavor and like seaweed. I had that kind of flavor. Yeah, I don't know the relevance of that, but anyway. So, group number 4s, these are all the messages I have for you, so I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. Did you know it took me like over a week to film this video? Because I've just been traveling, been hanging out with my friends, but that's okay. I think it took like 10 days or something. Anyway, thank you for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you would like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch dozens of timeless exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also suggest topics for future videos. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song, and I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, I will have my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, anything I do. I'm so grateful to have you here. I'm radiating love and gratitude for you, my group number 4s. And I'm sending lots of love to you, to anyone who appeared in this reading, directly or indirectly. I'm sending love to your higher self, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.